Well, we're here tonight, and we've got with us Archie and John, who were both involved in something that was a bit of a sensation on the internet. It's been on the TV, on BBC TV. It's been in the Coventry Telegraph, and it's had over 300,000 hits on the BBC as a video, and it's something that happened in a quiet residential street in Coventry just 3 days ago. So in 3 days, 300,000 people have looked into this, and we're going to find out a little bit about it.
Archie Millar was determined to stay put in his home of more than 4 decades in Coventry today as supporters surrounded the property. Across the road, a locksmith, housing official, bailiff and police stood by.
I'd like to just talk to Archie first. What happened was that Archie on Monday morning was going to be evicted from his house. And you know, on Monday when I saw Archie, you were in a bit of a state, weren't you, Archie?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm picking it, I was.
Yeah. And you had your suitcases packed.
Yeah, I had my suitcases packed.
And you thought that was it? You were...
That's it. Going down and stand at the door. For the bailiffs.
Yeah. And how does it feel to be a celebrity now, Archie?
Oh, I'm just waiting to go Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, so a bit better basically.
Yeah.
Things have changed quite a lot.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah. And kind of going back from there a little bit, towards the end of last week, you got in touch with John Bodle from the Coventry Against the Bedroom Tax, didn't you? Because you were going to be evicted and you didn't quite know what to do next.
Well, I did phone up John last year about it.
Yeah.
But Whitefriars would take the payments off me.
Yeah.
Clear the debts, bedroom tax debt. But I found I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I wanted more and more money.
Yeah. And you found that with the benefit you were getting, you just couldn't afford to pay that bedroom.
Sometimes I had to go to the food banks.
You had to go to food banks and use them, yeah. So it's a terrible situation, really. You've been struggling to pay that, you've been unable to do it, and you got into a situation where, because you couldn't pay it, you'd mounted up a debt, and now you're at the point where Whitefriars was threatening to evict you from your house that you've lived in for how long?
43 years.
43 years, yeah. Family home, isn't it, basically? Yeah. And then you phoned up John in a bit of desperation, I should think, really. Yeah. And
that's where it happened.
Yeah.
Didn't say no.
Yeah. And what did you feel like when you got that story, John? What was the reaction from you?
Well, obviously I was very concerned about the situation really with Archie, because he was due to be evicted within a very few days. So obviously we had to set to at quite short notice and see what we could do. So first of all, Dave Nellis from the Socialist Party set to trying to talk to some of the authorities and see if anything could be sorted out. It couldn't at that stage. They were not prepared to make any concession whatsoever. So by Friday we were faced with this, having to organise a protest and try and contact the media and so forth. So we had to contact people, so that's what we did. That went quite successfully. We got 30 people down on Monday morning outside Archie's house to prevent the eviction, and the local media turned out once they heard about it.
Okay. So you tried initially through towards the end of last week to offset it, to try and negotiate and so on, but in fact that failed, and what was necessary was to get people outside that house in a last-ditch attempt to stop the bailiffs from entering the property.
Yeah, that's what we had to do. But I mean, you're right. We were not looking for some kind of confrontation or whatever for the fun of it. Every means was tried by us, and every means had been tried by Archie to sort things out reasonably. But that clearly wasn't going to happen, so we had to do that. And it went very successfully. It was great. There were neighbours there, students, Socialist Party members, trade unionists, all kinds of people. It was well covered in the media, and as soon as the bailiffs and so forth arrived, you could see they just weren't going to try and do anything. They never even came across the road and talked to us. They were just straight on the phone to Whitefriars headquarters. Dave Nellis tried to talk to them and negotiate something, and you could see really that what was happening is they were in an unfamiliar situation of meeting that resistance. They were in an awkward spot, they were under the glare of the media spotlight, and they wanted to get out of that. And in the end, they did, by calling off the eviction, and their van duly drove off to the cheers of the protesters. And now, at the very least, Archie's got a month or two without being evicted, and during that time we think it's going to be perfectly possible to sort out a long-term solution. In fact, they've already been on to Archie with one possibility, so we're going to explore that with him, and I think there's going to be a satisfactory resolution.
Archie, what did you feel like when 30 people turned up at your house with all those placards?
Relieved.
Relieved. Yeah.
Very relieved.
Yeah. And you know, obviously the Socialist Party people that John organised at short notice came. What do you feel about that?
Just very thankful they all turned up. Otherwise, I'd be walking the streets now.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty stark contrast, isn't it? That you're here and things look a lot better. With an election coming up next week, Archie, you know, you got any recommendations for people watching this? Do you think?
Don't vote Cameron.
Don't vote Cameron, no. Have you got any recommendations, John, do you think, as well?
Well, vote TUSC. Lots of people will be doing it.
I think that's it. Vote for the Trade Union and Socialist Coalition is the message. Thank you.